So to Michelle, I'm not crying, you're crying. What was great, I've been connected with Junior Achievement for years, and so I've been coming to this event for years, and it's just amazing to be here. So thank you. I will say thank you. I did pick up some common traits that I shared with David and Luann. I'm one of 8 kids. So we crammed it. You don't have that many seatbelts in a station wagon too. And Luann, my spouse calls me a lot too. So we have that in common. And David, I'm guessing you just didn't say it, but but the third thing is just this deep love for Maine, and you don't commit to the hours and the sweat and tears to doing the things that we do without having a deep love for Maine. So I promised my family I wouldn't tell any dad jokes, so I'm going to cut that. That actually cut down my speech because I know that I stand between you and bedtime. So, but I do want to tell you a little bit about the organizations I've been involved in, a little bit about me to understand why these organizations are important to me. But let me start by saying I love Maine. I was born and raised here. I'm a first-generation college graduate. I was responsible for funding my own education. Back then, there was a free college program. They called it enlistment. So I am a veteran of the United States Army. Thank you. Thank you. And 5 years later, I was debt-free and ready to return to Maine. But I have to tell you a little story. Transitioning from active duty service to the civilian workforce is incredibly difficult. Primarily because when you come out of the military, you don't have a business network to tap into. And Michelle Anderson talked a little bit about that. Like, you got to find that network. It's the other part is a lot of employers don't understand the transferable skills you get from military service. So there's that breakdown too. So I was at this time too. It was also the economy was struggling at that time. So there weren't a lot of jobs available. I sent countless resumes to Maine employers and really wasn't hearing anything. And I thought if I could just meet with someone, maybe I could get them to see my potential. I finally got my break when an HR manager brought me into interview, and I was really excited. I prepped for days, and not to brag, I nailed that interview. It was to this day, I still think it was my best interview performance. I was certain I was going to get this job, really only to be told that I wasn't quite right for the role. However, there was another opportunity if I was willing to relocate to Massachusetts. This is what my kids are like, oh God. Sorry. Having few other options, I relocated to Massachusetts. I took the opportunity. Obviously, I eventually returned to Maine, but it really shaped my perspective on what Mainers need. And really, if someone wants to live and work in Maine, they should be able to. Maine should have a strong economy with available jobs. Mainers should have access to workforce development and training that prepares them for those jobs. And Maine should tap into military veterans as a talent source. So with that background, I've committed thousands of hours over the past 20 years to growing Maine's economy and its workforce readiness. Allow me just a couple of minutes to talk about some of the organizations I've supported. But before I do that, I need to start with Dead River Company. It's been important to me to work for a company that loves Maine as I do, a company that is committed to its Maine roots. We're the largest home heating oil and gas provider in the state of Maine, and from Fort Kent to Kittery, Machias to Rangeley, our team lives in and services every community in Maine. I don't know any other company that has that kind of reach in every community. We're committed to hiring military veterans, and our efforts have been nationally recognized. Although less than 1% of the US population serves in the military, 11% of our team has served or is currently serving. Yeah. Awesome, Dead River. And our training is the best in the industry. We've established a unique partnership with the Maine Community College system to deliver training to community college students using our facilities and our instructors. And although we know that we're training students that may very well go to work for our competitors, we do it for the betterment of Maine. Dead River Company also affords me the opportunity to work with some of the organizations I'm about to speak to. Let me start with Maine Company. So Maine Company is a partnership between leaders of many of Maine's most iconic companies and the governor's office, specifically the Department of Economic and Community Development. Maine Company's mission is to bring jobs and capital investment into Maine. Probably some of you have never heard of Maine Company, and if you haven't, there's a Ronald Reagan quote that might explain why. And Reagan said, "It's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't care about who gets credit." And that's been Maine Company's mantra for 30 years. The next organization I want to talk about is Boots to Roots. So Boots to Roots assists active duty service members to transition into the civilian workforce. They provide support to both the service members and to Maine employers. They provide that business network, and they help with the translation of those transferable skills. Maine needs to tap into this resource. We have a workforce shortage. Our latest economic development plan had identified a shortage of 75,000 workers over the next 10 years if we want to meet our economic growth goals. Each year, 200,000 active duty service members transition into the civilian workforce. Boots to Roots is unique to Maine, and it helps differentiate us, and that's a resource, that's a source of talent that we should be targeting. And then finally, I have to talk about Junior Achievement of Maine, which is near and dear to my heart. As you heard in the video, I met Michelle Anderson 15 years ago. I introduced her to JA. As the JA board chair, I promoted her to her current role of president, and she has made me look smart ever since. So I really take no credit other than just kind of pointing her and saying, go. So with that, I have to take this opportunity to make an ask, and it's really echoing a lot of what you've heard. But here's my ask. Help build Maine's future. If you're a business leader looking to develop your future workforce, if someone in your past has shaped who you are today, if you love Maine as I do, please volunteer in a JA classroom. You will inspire Maine kids. And I say that's a big statement, inspiring Maine kids. How can you? I can almost assure you that you will. And if you doubt me, consider the one statistic that was up there before, which is 56% of adults who had JA taught in their classroom as a kid went into the same career field as the person who taught them JA. That's an incredible impact. So just once, try it once. Please, that's my ask. Finally, as I wrap up, and I promise I'm wrapping up, I want to come back to the best interview performance of my life. Why would I think that was such a successful performance if I didn't get the job? Sometimes the role you apply for isn't the one you should have. That interview led me to another opportunity, albeit in Massachusetts. But years later, I ran into that HR manager and learned of another opportunity she had. After a long selection process, she saw the potential in me and I got my dream job. And I brought her here with me so that you could meet her. I want you to meet my wife, Holly. I told you I nailed that interview. Thank you.